fund balance, you get it from the citizens. If we spend this 1.5 and go to 1.4, well, we're gonna make a $562,000 payment. Now we're back to 1.9. Now we're gonna make another $500,000 payment, and we're at 2.4. So does this make sense to you? If you got the money in your pocket, pay for it. Simple as that. If we get in trouble, then we go borrow money. We go to the bank and say, hey, I got a nice fancy library here. What will you lend me on that library?
Amen.
Okay, now everybody make a comment. Do we have a motion on which rate that we want to use?
I just have one more comment.
Yes, sir.
On the flexibility. To give yourself more time so that you will have flexibility, basically is what you're saying to the citizens is that we're retiring a debt. We've got another $500,000, which represents about 5 cents on your tax bill. I think 1 cent is about $86,000. So what it says to our citizens is this, is that we taxed you to pay for the school. Now we're going to retire the school debt, and we're going to pay for the library out of that same tax money. But I'm not going to give you any money back. I'm not going to reduce your taxes by 3 cents because I want to stay in a position that since I'm spending this money here, if I need something else, I can continue to keep your money. We never see a tax relief. The federal government is $14.9 trillion in deficit. The state and the county don't have the liberty to go in a deficit to purchase things or put in new programs. We have to have a balanced budget. So that means whatever we do, we have to tax the citizens. We can't have an unbalanced budget. So when I retire a debt that I've taxed you for, in fairness, I ought to give you some money back when I'm paying that debt off. But if I keep that money and says, okay, I'm looking for something else to spend this money so I never have to give it back, when I do need to do something under an emergency, guess what? I'm going to have to tax you some more money because I've already spent that I could have given back. So when we talk about flexibility, we're talking 2 years of using $500,000, 2 years. Because we've got year 1 and 2 that we're not going to use, we're still paying on the school. We have to go a little bit more in fund balance. So in that 2-year time frame, I really don't see, where we would put ourselves in so much jeopardy of not having sufficient funds to do what we need because we've committed ourselves to this 5-year limit. So I understand the flexibility, but it's not a long-term thing. And if we need money, we're going to have to tax the citizens anyway. So that's the upfront reality of it all.
All right. Now, is there a motion on one of the on which way we want? We've got the option of the 1.7 cent. I feel like BB&T is the agreement of everybody being the best decision. We've got 3 options here. We've got 1.77% for 5 years, 2.39% for 10 years, 3.37% for 15 years, or pull the money out of fund balance to pay for it up front. Do we have that in any type of motion?
Oh, yeah. One more discussion, Mr. Chairman. In lieu of what Mr. Jordan has just said, that's the thing that you really need to be paying attention to. As he said, and Mr. Chappell's comment, there's no tax increase. That's right. But you retired debt, and you continue to tax the citizens at that same rate. It's a tax increase. Simple as that. If you went out and bought an automobile for 36 payments, $500 a month, and you paid through payment number 40, spent an extra $2,000, and they kept your money, but the obligation was done at 36, how would you feel? Would you feel that they had done you wrong? Would you feel it has done the citizens wrong if you pay for this debt that you've been taxed at 64 cents? And then it's paid off? And your payment don't stop? Because just like Henry said, it gets spent somewhere else. It's easy to spend someone else's money. But I have the power sitting on this side of the table if I can justify that expenditure to tax you at any time. I've got a 12-month window this in. Where should the power be? The power should be with the people.
Yes.
To determine what they want, what they're willing to step up to the plate for. We have the $1.5 million. Why not spend it? If that's what we want, let's go for it.
All right, Johnny, you making that as a motion?
I make a motion that we take the $1.5 million out of fund balance and buy this library. If we get into
All right,
trouble,
we've got a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
well, I'm gonna clarify
The motion's on the table.
I've got another part to it. We take $1.5 million out of fund balance and pay for this library that you want. Then if we get in trouble, we ask one of these banks to lend us money against that asset that we have that's 100% paid for. Simple as that.
Is that the motion now?
That is the motion.
All right, we've got a motion on the table that we pay for the library using $1.5 million worth of fund balance and ask the banks if they will loan us money if we get in trouble on that asset. Do I have a second?
In trouble with the fund balance.
With the fund balance. Do I have a second on that motion?
Nobody say nothing.
All right, motion dies. Are there
Can't
any other
believe
motions that need to be made?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we finance the library at 1.77% for 5 years, with the county manager giving us a breakdown of the cost, the semi-annual cost, just prior to initiating the loan.
I can't believe these damn
In other words, we want to see the figures.
Okay. Yeah, I can figure. Okay, we've got a motion on the
I
table.
second that motion.
Keep going.
Wait a minute, let's,
I just want to clarify what he's asking. Commissioner Jordan, you're asking to see this similar breakdown using 5 years, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
At 1.77.
Correct, I just want to clarify.
1.5 million.
At 1.77%.
Okay. All right, we've got a motion that we moved at 1.77% for the 5-year loan with the county manager, doing a breakdown before the final paperwork is presented, right? That goes through LGD, all that stuff first, right?
Well, yeah, actually, you have to contact You actually have to contact BB&T and advise them that you are taking the 1.77 loan, and then contact the legislature and the LGC. You have to make your commitment first.
All right, we have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, gentlemen.
Next item I have is a condemnation ordinance. And this is gonna be mostly an FYI at this point. You have time for this. You should have in your stack a copy of the condemnation ordinance. The second paragraph has a highlighted sentence that the county has been requested to add for your consideration. It's not for a vote today, we're gonna have to do a public hearing, but this is mostly for your FYI, that this is an issue that's come up.
Well, this is something we can do. We can do it in the next meeting. I mean, we gotta have public.
Yeah,